Let's view our Sunday school lesson for today. We're continuing the summer quarter for the months of June, July, and August under the theme Worship, Sacrifice, and Offering. This quarter continues the scriptural look at worship in the Old Testament, and we will look at the sacrificial altars that preceded the temple. We'll also look at Jesus' relationship to the temple, and we'll reflect on sacrifices in the New Testament under the New Covenant. We continue in unit number 2 for the month of July, entitled Jesus and the Temple. And we will explore the gospel texts of Matthew, Luke, and John as we explore Jesus' relationship with the New Testament temple, the place of worship. Our lesson for today is lesson number 7 for July the 13th, 2025, entitled The Question of Authority. And our printed passage is Matthew 12, verse 1 through 8. As we look at this lesson today in the context of this unit of Jesus dealing with the temple, and we have looked at the Old Testament law that Moses received from God, and we have also looked at how they were continuing to practice that into the New Testament. But we have also noted that when Jesus comes on the scene, he initiates a change in the way that God's people relate to him, the way they worship, and their hearts concerning worship. Now, as Jesus comes on the scene, the middle part of his life ministry starting to move, we encounter today a situation that reminds us of the setting in it, and it also reminds us of really the mindset and heart of those who led the temple worship in regards to the Pharisees and the priests and the scribes, as well as how they treated others. Now, the issue in our text today, Jesus is passing through the corn with his disciples on the Sabbath day. And as they are hungry, they pass through the corn. They reach up and get some corn and they eat it. And when the religious leaders see this, they come to Jesus and they take the law and they use it against him to condemn him without showing any mercy. Now, don't look at this strange, because it's a reoccurring theme that the religious people would weaponize the law and show no mercy to any person. They would use the law to condemn, and yet here is Jesus coming to save. It's interesting. These who know the law, teachers of the law, those who could read the law and explain the law, were using it to condemn people and show no mercy. And yet Jesus came to show us all mercy by fulfilling the law. It shows us the situation and the place where the church was during Jesus' time. They were nitpicking any little small thing. So what did Jesus do? He dealt with it. He addressed it. Firstly, he referenced 1 Samuel 21. Do you not recall what King David from the tribe of Judah, and one of the greatest king and the man after God's own heart? You remember what he did? Went into the priest as he was on the run from Saul and asked him if he had any food, and all he said we had was the showbread that was daily placed before the Lord, that was only afforded to the priest to have. The Bible says David got it and ate it, him and his men, so that they could stay alive. Then Jesus referenced in verse number 5, he said, do y'all not realize the priests who work in their office on the Sabbath day are breaking the Sabbath law, but before God they are blameless? And in very two quick ways, Jesus addresses their biasness and the hypocrisy of them both. David showed as he went into the priest, he showed that there is mercy, that these things are put into place so that things can be orderly and done as God commands for them to be done. But there's also a mercy involved, that should someone be in need, that we're not so just bent on law that we can't show mercy. And then Jesus also showed that there's no way that you all can sit here and condemn somebody for or eating and shucking corn on the Sabbath day, the day of rest. And yet the priests go in and they minister before God doing work, but yet are blameless before God. And Jesus showed then that, listen, from your heart perspective, you can be right before God, even when some would say you're not doing what's right. And Jesus showed that clearly today in our lesson. So, two things. Number one, the relationship and to know Jesus is bigger than what happens in the temple. It's the most important thing. And then secondly, it's more important to follow Jesus than to follow law. Amen. It's more important to follow Jesus. If there's some good you can do, do it. This is a reoccurring thing Jesus will say. Are y'all upset? This man's sins were forgiven on the Sabbath day. This man was healed on the Sabbath day. How y'all mad or upset? There's good that can be done even on the Sabbath day. So in regards to our worship, let us remember that we're worshiping Jesus and that he shows us mercy, and that we ought to extend that same mercy to the one who is above and most important to all things. Again, Jesus said, I did not come to destroy the law. I came to fulfill it, because I'm greater than the law. And not only greater than the law, he says, I'm greater than this temple. And I don't want you just to come in here to this temple of Solomon's and be religious, but I want church on the inside of you. There's much that we can learn today from this lesson. God bless.